to a serial sexual abuse case that happened in a doctor's office.
The previous women had reported it before I even went into that hospital.
I'll take you to Missoula, where one victim speaks out, and we'll hear why this case could result in dozens more coming forward. Plus, 2 Billings students take home a national award.
Just by being vegan, we help animals, because that's just by not buying meat, that's helping them.
The Brandish brothers going above and beyond for their love of animals. And a community staple.
They like the homemade food because we do everything from scratch right here in the kitchen.
One Wyoming diner to be featured on national TV. We'll take you there. The MTN Sunday News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Andrea Lutz. A Billings attorney is once again calling for stiffer punishments and better ethics policies, considering a massive serial sexual assault case. The victims are patients who were looking for care from a doctor at a Western Montana hospital. And now as many as 15 women have come forward with allegations against Dr. Tyler Hurst. Tonight we hear from one of those women, brave enough to tell her story in hopes others will also come forward. You're supposed to trust your doctor.
You know it's wrong, but you're scared.
This, after all, is a safe space.
You shut down. You don't know what to do.
But as many as 15 women say they weren't safe.
The previous women had reported it before I even went into that hospital.
We've agreed to protect this woman's identity, and she's agreed to tell her story in hopes it might protect others.
He knew which ones to choose, what victims to choose, and he thought he could get away with certain things with certain women.
Community medical doctor Tyler Hurst is not only accused in a massive criminal sex abuse case where now as many as 15 women have come forward. He's also the target of a civil complaint.
It takes incredible courage to come forward.
Her Billings attorney, John Heenan, believes the case has far-reaching impacts.
This happened in Missoula. But sadly, it is not an isolated incident.
In addition to charges filed in Missoula County District Court, the civil complaint alleges Hurst sexually assaulted his patients under the guise of providing medical care, going against his Hippocratic oath.
He seemed not to ever have a nurse with him.
Back in June of last year, she went to community to have a persisting bruise on her upper thigh looked at.
I was trying to make up an excuse in my mind why he had to have his hand there, because it just didn't make sense to me.
She says the last time he came in the room without gloves, he sexually assaulted her and then left.
And I just froze.
On top of that, she called Community Medical Center to complain, and her allegations were dismissed. As it turns out, other women revealed in court documents they'd already complained about Dr. Hurst, also alleging sexual assault and even rape.
For them to know that he'd already been accused of these things and allowing him, one, to even let him be in the same room with somebody by themselves, it's unacceptable.
Sadly, Montana has seen plenty of cases like this before, and Heenan has prosecuted plenty. One of the most notorious involves longtime Miles City athletic trainer James Jensen. In 2018, 32 men came forward with stories of sexual abuse as teens under the guise of a program to improve their athletic ability. Heenan believes Jensen had hundreds of victims.
Whoever's brave enough to come forward, often there's a snowball effect.
Heenan says one way hospitals can better protect patients is a mandatory use of chaperones, an ethical policy to include an observer in the room at the request of a patient.
The victim can be discredited, not believed. They can question themselves, kind of what happened? Did I cause this somehow?
Emotions and fears this woman continues to navigate.
Felt very sick to my stomach over it because I felt guilt.
Why do you think that you felt guilt?
That maybe it wouldn't happen to somebody else.
Looking for some sort of freedom and justice from it. And Billings Attorney John Heenan is once again calling on lawmakers to enforce those stricter punishments on those in positions of power, such as doctors. As for Hurst, his next day in court has been pushed back until the end of November. Some good news tonight for those in Big Timber as the city's water treatment plant is back online. However, the city's boil advisory remains in effect for now to ensure everything is working properly. The city has been under a boil advisory since last week after flooding occurred at the treatment plant due to a leak in the pipes. And that flooding damaged filtration pumps, which had to be replaced. Now that those fixes are made, the advisory will be lifted shortly.
And speaking of Big Timber, just to the east of there, we're starting to watch around Reed Point, Absaroka, over towards Columbus. A little stronger cell developing here, quite a bit of thunder and lightning. It does show where you can see the blue shaded region, a little bit of hail potential as well. Perhaps some small penny-sized hail could develop with that. So be watching that storm over the next short while. It's continuing to push off the mountains. Isolated showers and thunderstorms throughout at least the evening hours of tonight, and then perhaps even some stronger storms as we get into tomorrow. Wind is going to be the biggest concern around those storms. We will see a little bit of a cool down in our extended forecast. We'll show you when to start to expect that. Smoke, not a big issue, but we'll talk more about that as well.
The Democratic National Convention begins tomorrow in Chicago, and for one Great Falls man, the event represents familiar ground. Since 2000, Cascade County Democrat Carl Donovan has been casting his vote for president at the Democratic National Convention. And with the party pivot to Vice President Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket, he feels there's an added excitement, especially among younger registered voters.
I've been helping with the Democratic Fair booth for many, many years, and this year we saw lots of young people come to vote. We had over 15 people vote in one day, and so people were very, very excited.
Donovan is one of 24 Montana delegates, mostly from Missoula, Bozeman, and Helena. Much of his time will be spent attending those party caucuses. 2 Billings students are getting national praise for their work helping animals. A competition held by PETA looks for kids around the country advocating for animals, and they found the Brandish brothers in Billings, who dedicated majority of their young lives to protecting animals. With this Positively Montana story, here's our Charlie Kleps.
2 students here at Lewis and Clark Middle School have committed to an uncommon diet, one that's definitely not shared by many of their peers here at school or even many around the city of Billings. But just recently, that unique diet has actually won them some national recognition.
Usually they can ask for stuff like cinnamon toast, French egg.
At first glance, the Bradish household doesn't look any different than most.
I have 2 favorites, this one and then the one behind you.
A family of 4 with a home full of pets.
And also basically adopted Neville.
But if you were to open up their fridge,
So we've got Abe's vegan muffins.
you'll quickly find exactly what makes this family stand out.
After all, I've been a vegetarian since I was 3.
That's 7th grader Wesley Bradish, who made the bold choice early on in life when reading through his animal encyclopedia.
One day he made the connection that meat was made from animals. And he flipped out, said, animals are my friends, I can't eat my friends.
It's a day his mother, Jennifer, remembers well. Wesley is diagnosed with high-functioning autism, and when he sets his mind to something, he generally sticks to it.
I just discovered what meat was made of early.
Not long after, so did his little brother, Toby.
I finally figured it out that it just wasn't fair to them that they can't live where they're supposed to.
At 9, he took it one step further.
He said, I want to go vegan. I said, are you sure? He said, well, can you tell me that the egg industry and the dairy industry doesn't hurt animals?
Before long, both boys and their mother were vegans. The boys not just staying away from certain foods, but doing lots to advocate for animals as well.
I did a petition to stop chick hatching in a classroom in our school.
That petition and other things like these t-shirts helped the boys become 2 of 3 children selected to receive an award from PETA. The prize?
A year's worth of cookie delivered to you every month.
A year's supply of vegan cookie dough. Not too bad. But of course for the boys and their mom, it means so much more.
I was just happy that I had won because of something that I do, that I stand for.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Still to come on the MTN 530 News here on this Sunday, a Wyoming diner is dishing up a national following, all while overcoming some personal challenges. We're going to take you to Gray Bowl to show you how they're doing it. And in sports, the Billings Scarlets look to keep their World Series dreams alive in North Carolina. Scott has all of the highlights from a busy Sunday on the diamond in just a bit.